We left on page 40. The Ramchal had said in the paragraph right before the last yesterday that even if something has been verified and it's irrefutable and you've accepted it, even if you behave that way, and you accept it upon yourself, due to one's conflict of interest, which is called laziness, regardless, and you will not deny that you have your obligation, somehow your laziness or you don't want to be put upon will cause you not to fulfill the mitzvah, not to do what you should be doing. And even if people give you musar, because of this conflict that you have, that you don't want to be bothered or burdened, you're going to see it differently. And you're going to reject and deflect anything that's said. And you're going to interpret it the way you want it to be interpreted. Not that you'd have a sense that you're doing the wrong thing. I'll give you an example. Person studies in Shiv, there's no question. Leaves, and over time, on a certain level, things start eroding, spiritually speaking. If you ask the person, do you remember this and that, of course. He says, well, then I was more religious. I mean, the Halacha and Shulchan Aruch hasn't changed, right? And he'll admit it. Well, you know, if you're moral, you do that. What can I answer that? Is that, you mean that the Halacha Shulchan is only for the more observant, not for the less, so you tell me you're less observant? No, not really less observant, but, I mean, he'll interpret in a way that he has no sense of guilt whatsoever. Not whatsoever. Because somehow, in his own mind, he's justified, he's worked it out and reconciled everything, and legitimate. You know, I'm in a community, I could be a role model, my family, they're not there, if I'm too strict, too extreme. You could come up with a million reasons why he'll justify not doing something exactly the way it should be done. And that's what he's saying. Based on each person's situation, he will somehow reconcile, justify, and rationalize to say what he's doing is not wrong. But where is it rooted in? It's rooted in atzlus, in this laziness, because if the person would see how important it is, there's no way he's going to compromise that.
Well, the Yetzer Hara.
That's the Yetzer Hara. That's atzlus.
So, I mean, it just seems like if you're learning in yeshiva, you're good. If you're not,
it's the environment. You need the environment to actually you need a conducive environment to overcome any of these things. He says, you should know that this principle has been proven and tested in regard to abstinence. That whenever you want to accept, to be more lenient in anything, you have to make an evaluation. Is it really justified? Is it permitted? Although it may be proper and correct, it may be one of the machinations of the inclination. Therefore, it has to be verified, and it has to be delved upon and evaluated. Give you an example. A person says the person is permitted to take a break, to relax, need relaxation. You can't go continuously. Now the question is, what is proper, appropriate relaxation? You know, where do you go? What do you expose yourself to? And how do you utilize that time? Right? At many levels. You could relax. You could take a book and read a book. You could go and sightsee, and you could expose yourself to many different things. So, what could happen if I go there? It's like people that go on vacation, and they say, you know, they put on the TV, we're only going to watch the news. And one time news was okay. Even the newscaster, the person dressed appropriately. Today, you know, the woman on there, you know, that itself is a problem, the way she dresses. How do I know this? Because sometimes you walk through a lobby in a building, you see what it is. Not that wherever it may be. But at one time, I'm going to watch the news. Once the news, all of a sudden, you're already watching watching something else besides the news. What do you have to say? You can watch the news. Go straight and watch whatever you want to watch. The answer is, you have to come in through the back door to get to the front of the house. That's the way it works. But again, it's self-delusion. That's what it is. We delude ourselves, but that's the Yatzas HaYetzer. Because a person can't deal with guilt. I can't, it happened. It happened but you understand, you could have prevented it from happening. If you would never open it up, take the newspaper, read the newspaper. Or listen to the radio rather than opening the television or cable, whatever it may be. What somehow pops onto the screen and you noticed what, and you spent the next 3 hours seeing things that maybe that you shouldn't see. Or people, what they expose their children to, because they want it, and, well, we'll keep it under lock and key. There's no such thing as lock and key when you have kids. Well, but I thought we'd be able to. We couldn't really do it. Something, if that's a chance, possibility, then don't bring it in the house. If you don't want your children to be affected. The answer is, you're willing to compromise, make certain compromises for the sake of what? Your own needs. But again, therefore, everything has to be evaluated to the nth degree, because you never know. This is the machinations of the Yetzer Hara, trying to drag you and pull you in, and ultimately, he actually succeeds in what he does. Klalo shel dover chizuk godel tzarchodel mischazek leskaber bizrizus lasos hamitzvos. There's one needs tremendous amount of strengthening, reinforcement, and to overcome, to act with zeal when it comes to do mitzvahs. There's always a certain lethargy, there's an inertia to get yourself going. To throw off the heaviness of laziness, which is always what the impediment, which interferes with doing the thing. A person says, let's learn. You're on vacation. Let's take tomorrow, later, this and that. Why not now? But again, so sometimes you have to really take the bull by the horns, just do it. Once you do it, and then you say, after the person learns, you say, did you regret it? Did you give up anything? What did you gain? Afterwards, the person definitely would agree that it was something very positive. But to get yourself there, it's not so simple. Many years ago, I had a case, just end with this. A certain person, he's not alive any longer, and didn't put on tefillin. He was a Sephardic Jew. And I said to him, I want to buy you a pair of tefillin, as long as you're going to put it on every day. Just to say the Shema, and you can take them off. So he agreed. So I said to him, he was a Wall Street person. I said, you go to work, you invest time. Sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money. So what you made, you could lose. You do a mitzvah, it's yours forever. You can never, ever lose that mitzvah. So I said to him, so one day I said, did you put on tefillin today? No. So I said, why not? He said, whatever, you got to be in the office. I said, let me ask a question. The mitzvah you did last week, I said, I want to buy it from you. Would you sell it for $100? He says, no. What about $1,000? No. You're not willing to sell for $1,000, but to pass on the mitzvah, to do the mitzvah, for any nonsensical reason, you're willing to pass on it. Is that rational thinking? If I have it, I'm not willing to give it up. But to acquire it with the minimum amount of effort for the most inane, nonsensical reason, you're not going to do it. No, but I understand. No, I don't mean it. No, I know. David's only joking. No, I don't mean that. No, but again, if this moment, right? He wouldn't sell for $1,000, but to do the mitzvah take him one moment, without any effort. But for some reason, it doesn't do it. There's a certain inertia. You need a certain degree of zeal, something to overcome that hump. Otherwise, you don't go over the hump. That's the way it is. Right? Person is totally rational. People are not consistent in the way they do things. It doesn't make sense, and the person admits it doesn't make sense. But that's the way people live their lives.
The fact that he didn't value it.
No question. Of course, there's no question.
There is a value.
It's like a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. It's that kind of thing. Once I have my hand, I'm not giving it up. But in the bush, well, you just have to go in the bush, and you can take it out of the bush. No, you're not doing it. You're not doing it so quickly. To be continued.